Hey everyone, James here from TDB bringing you another In-Betweenisode. So today is a little bit of a tea I hadn't previously been expecting to bring onto an In-Betweenisode. And it is a gamble from Taobao that I did not buy, but my good friend Garrett, who is a fellow tea drinker, that's how I met him, had bought, and he gave me a nice, generous 75-gram sample of this tea. It's a ripe tea, as you can kind of tell from this big blue pot that is featured in my ripe episodes usually. So brewing it very casually. It's a 2016 Xiaguan mushroom, 300-gram mushroom, sold by MXT. So he actually used a different agent this time, which he has told me that he would definitely recommend, especially if you're looking at saving costs, which I think is, kind of important when generally too. So, but cost per gram, as far as like gram shipped, I think it's good to have the best options available, especially when you're buying cheaper tea, such as this one. And so he gave me a big generous sample, partly because this tea is rather inexpensive. I think it is currently selling for 118 RMB, which translates to approximately $17 to $18. Of course, you probably end up spending a little bit more on the fees and whatnot. But regardless, this is not an expensive tea, and if you can use a cheaper agent such as ship forwarder, where I do think you actually need to buy the tea yourself through Taobao, but have it sent to kind of ship forwarder, who will then kind of send it forward. So and this tea sort of fits into that category that I think Taobao is well suited for. If you're looking for kind of like very ordinary but decent daily teas, I think it is sort of a category that you're just going to find a high batting average from, and that is basically reputable seller, MXT, reputable brand, Xiaguan, and reasonable to low expectations. And I mean, if you're spending 118 RMB, under $20 on something that's a good size, like 300 grams, then you really shouldn't go in with outrageous expectations at all. And, I found this tea to be quite pleasant, and to be honest, I think I like it more than the 2007 Xiaofa tool that we bought over the summer, at least that particular batch of it, which Denny enjoyed, and I found it to be fine. And that tea is right over here. A couple things I did talk about in that episode is how Xiaguan, not really known for the ripe teas, far more known for the raw productions, such as this guy, 8653, Crane, known for their Crane logo, often kind of like seen as big factory number 2 behind Dai. I'm kind of a Dai guy when it comes to ripe. I like their productions a fair amount. But, there's a place for Xiaguan, and I do enjoy Xiaguan as well. So, I have brewed this tea in the morning, and here we go on number 5 or 6, something like that. Cheers. So just kind of, it's very simple. It's kind of rich and creamy. You can taste a little bit of that storage because this was bought from MXT, which is based down in Guangdong, kind of in southern China, southeast China. You would expect that storage to probably be from around there. Not a certainty, but I think it kind of fits that profile. And I do like that storage. It imputes just a little bit of character on this tea, gives it a little bit more of a different funk taste to it, rather than kind of a more dry stored place. And one thing I did note for both the Xiaofa tool as well as this one is the longevity is not great. And I do think that might be a reason why I might downgrade the tea a little bit, partly because of that, just the longevity inherently, but also because of the way I drink these. I'll often serve a couple steeps for my wife and myself in the morning, and then usually when I'm filming these episodes, it'll be a little bit of the later steep. So, and that's also when I would drink the tea throughout the day. So I will probably kind of weight the tea a little bit less on the first few steeps and a little bit more on the tea steeps that come later. And I think for the most part, that's not, a huge issue, but I think if a tea does not have huge longevity, which neither this nor the Xiaofa tool does. You can even tell that from the color. I think this tea will still be good, but I think the tea is slowly starting to peter out here. But the longevity does not quite match what you would get from some of the better boutique productions from a White Tea, Yunnan Sourcing, Crimson Lotus, or even some of the Dai productions where there are some that fall off fast, but there are others that, are good at chunking along for a while. So, yeah. Cheers. It's just such a simple but comforting profile for me. Just very, very easy to drink. Not getting a ton of interesting aroma from this. The taste is not very particularly like complex or anything like that, but just the overall body and creaminess and smoothness of it makes it kind of an ideal, just forgettable daily drinker for me. So I think in my drinking habits, this is a pretty ideal office drinker. So if you drink tea similar to me, it's definitely one I would recommend. I don't love it when the ripes are necessarily overly complex and require study for those sorts of situations. So for me, at least, this is a tea that will be no issue getting through. So if you're looking for kind of like a nice bargain, really cheap price to spend on tea, something like $17-18 for 300 grams. So after shipping and stuff, hopefully you would still be spending well under 10 cents a gram. It's hard to go wrong with that, and you can just kind of treat those teas very disposably, drink them pretty fast, and that's for 300 gram price. I think you can even get bulk discounts as you kind of scale up on there. So yeah, I will link the tea description below. Big thank you to Garrett for providing this tea. I didn't even buy this tea myself, but you know, if I end up buying tea from Taobao and I need something, just kind of some nice filler that's like a good solid office tea, I think this is probably also a pretty good introduction ripe. It's clean, it's fairly inoffensive, I would say, as these go. So if people are just trying to introduce someone else to ripe, different genre of tea, then I think this one's pretty good. And then even will give you kind of a slight hint of what you would expect from kind of that more southern Chinese storage Guangdong. Again, storage is not necessarily the huge point of this tea or ripe in general, but it can be another aspect to focus on. So yeah, going to give this tea a solid 5.8 rating. And we'll probably have just maybe one more steep or so after this. So thank you all for tuning in. Let me know how you like this episode. If there are other teas on Taobao that you've tried, or if you've experienced ship forward, or if you used them before, please comment below. Always curious to hear about those things. Give the video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and I will see you all next time. Cheers.